What would you do if you saw a massive dog trapped, panicking, and every adult around completely helpless to save him? Now imagine a baby, barely able to walk, crawling straight toward that terrified animal. Your heart would stop, right? Well, that's exactly what happened one ordinary morning. And what this baby did next didn't just save a life. It taught an entire neighborhood something they'll never forget. Stay with me, because this story is about to blow your mind. Main content, it's a regular Tuesday morning in Willow Creek. The kind of morning where nothing exciting ever happens. The sun is just starting to warm up the sidewalks. A few birds are doing their thing in the trees. People are sipping coffee, checking their phones, getting ready for another ordinary day. Everything is peaceful. Everything is calm, until suddenly, it's not. A bark cuts through the quiet, sharp, urgent. Then another, and another. And then comes this sound, this awful, gut-wrenching howl that makes everyone within earshot freeze. It's the kind of sound that tells you something is very, very wrong. Neighbors start looking around, trying to figure out where it's coming from. And then, they see him. There's a bulldog. A big one. The kind with that massive, blocky head and those powerful jaws. And he's wedged between the iron bars of a side gate. His head is completely stuck. His thick neck is pressed tight against the metal. And no matter how hard he thrashes, he can't get free. His body is twisting. His paws are clawing at the ground, digging up dirt and grass in desperation. His eyes are bulging with fear. Drool is hanging from his mouth in long, thick strings. This dog is absolutely terrified. Within minutes, people start rushing over. Mr. Whitaker, the elderly gentleman from across the street, is one of the first to arrive. Then comes Marcus, a teenager who literally jumped out of bed and ran over barefoot because he heard the commotion. They both want to help. They're both speaking in soft, calm voices, trying to soothe the dog. But here's the thing, the bulldog isn't having it. He's too scared. Too panicked. Every time someone reaches toward him, he jerks violently. His body slams against the gate. His jaws snap. Not because he's aggressive, but because he's absolutely losing it with fear. Mr. Whitaker shakes his head, worry all over his face. He's going to seriously hurt himself if we don't get him out soon, he says, his voice tight with concern. Someone runs back to their house and grabs dish soap, thinking maybe they can slick up the bars and slide his head through. Another person tries gently shifting his head to a different angle. But every single touch just makes things worse. The dog yelps in pain. He thrashes harder. He doesn't understand that these people are trying to help him. All he knows is that he's trapped. He's scared, and nothing makes sense anymore. Now, if this story is already getting to you, if you're feeling that tightness in your chest, do me a favor, hit that like button. Drop a comment, and let me know you're here. And stick around, because we're just getting started. Alright, back to the story. Someone pulls out their phone and calls animal control. Another person is shouting toward the house, trying to find the owner. But there's no answer. Nobody's home. The bulldog's breathing is getting faster and faster. His sides are heaving up and down. You can see he's running out of energy, running out of hope. More neighbors gather. Parents are holding their kids close, not wanting them to see something traumatic. People are filming on their phones. Voices are overlapping. Everyone throwing out suggestions. Tried turning his head more to the left. Spray him with cold water to calm him down. Do we need to cut the bars? But here's the reality. Nobody actually knows what to do. Nobody has a solution that works. And with every passing second, the bulldog's cries are getting weaker. His body is trembling. He's exhausted, and everyone watching feels completely helpless. And then something happens that changes everything. From the corner of the yard, there's this tiny movement. At first, nobody really notices. But then, through the grass, wearing these little footy pajamas, a baby starts crawling. His name is Leo. He's barely old enough to stand on his own, let alone walk properly. His mom had only turned away for a second, just long enough to grab a bottle from inside. And in that one brief moment, he'd slipped out through the porch gate, drawn toward all the noise and commotion. By the time anyone actually sees him, He's already halfway across the yard, and he's heading straight for the gate. Straight for that trapped, panicking Bulldog. The crowd goes silent. Then someone screams, "Leo!" A gasp ripples through everyone watching. Hearts are pounding. Hands are reaching out, but nobody can get to him fast enough. The baby doesn't stop. He doesn't understand the danger. He just keeps crawling, one tiny hand after another, until he's sitting down right there. Right in front of that gate, right in front of that terrified dog. Maybe 6 inches away, close enough to touch. Everyone freezes. Time seems to stop, and here's what happens next. The Bulldog, who's been thrashing and snapping and completely losing his mind just seconds ago, suddenly goes completely still. His wild, panicked eyes lock onto the baby. His chest is still heaving, breathing fast, but something shifts. Leo looks up at him. No fear, no worry. Who's this pure, innocent curiosity? And then he giggles. That sound, that sweet, baby giggle, it cuts through all the tension like a warm breeze through a cold room. The Bulldog's ears perk up. He lets out this low whine. But it's different now. It's not fear. It's softer, almost like he's apologizing. Like he's saying, "I'm sorry for all this noise. I'm just scared." Leo presses his tiny little hands against the cold iron bars, and then, without hesitation, he reaches out and touches the dog's big, wet nose. Every single person watching holds their breath. You could hear a pin drop, and the Bulldog closes his eyes. For the first time since this whole nightmare started, he's calm, completely, totally. Leo giggles again, delighted. He leans forward and presses his forehead gently against the bars, like he's giving the dog a hug through the gate. The Bulldog doesn't move. He doesn't flinch. He lets out this long, shaky exhale, like he's releasing every ounce of fear he's been holding onto. And then he does something that makes everyone's jaw drop. He licks the baby's tiny fingers. Gentle, careful, grateful. Others whisper, "Did you just see that?" Mr. Whitaker has tears streaming down his face. Marcus, the teenager, whispers under his breath. He actually trusts him. Now that the dog is finally calm, the men dare to move closer. Marcus kneels down beside them, speaking in a low, soothing voice. "Easy, big guy. We've got you. It's all okay now." Leo, meanwhile, is clapping his little hands together like he's cheering everyone on, like he knows they're about to do something amazing. Slowly, so carefully, Marcus reaches out and gently guides the Bulldog's head. He adjusts the angle just slightly. For one tense, breathless moment, it seems like it's still stuck. But then, with a careful twist and a soft tug, the dog's head slides free. The crowd erupts. People are cheering, clapping, crying. The Bulldog stumbles backward, his legs shaky, his chest still heaving from exhaustion. But instead of running away, instead of bolting out of there as fast as he can, he does something nobody expects. He turns around and walks straight back to Leo. The baby squeals with pure delight as this massive dog presses his big, heavy head against his tiny shoulder. It's the gentlest thing you've ever seen. Phones are going off everywhere. Pictures. Videos. People are wiping tears from their eyes. Nobody can believe what they just witnessed. This same dog who was snarling, thrashing, hopelessly trapped and terrified just minutes ago is now standing there. Calm, gentle, grateful. And not because the adults figured it out. Not because of dish soap or tools or clever tricks, but because one tiny baby, who couldn't even walk yet, saw past the fear, saw past the danger, and just saw a friend who needed help. That moment changed something in everyone watching. It reminded them that sometimes the bravest acts come from the most unexpected places. That courage doesn't always look like muscles and strength. Sometimes it looks like innocence. Sometimes it looks like a giggle and a gentle touch. Sometimes the smallest person in the room carries the biggest heart. The Bulldog stayed close to Leo for several minutes after that, like he didn't want to leave his side. Eventually, the owner came rushing out, horrified and grateful all at once. The dog was checked over. He had some scrapes and bruises, but nothing serious. And Leo, he just kept giggling, completely unaware that he'd just become the hero of Willow Creek. Closing, this story isn't just about a dog getting rescued. It's about perspective. It's about how sometimes adults overthink things, how fear makes us hesitate, but children, they just act from the heart. They see the world differently. They don't see danger first. They see a friend. And sometimes, that's exactly what's needed. If this story touched you, if it made you feel something real, then don't just sit there. Smash that like button. Drop a comment below and tell me what this moment made you feel. And if you want more stories that remind you why kindness, courage, and love matter more than anything else, hit that subscribe or follow button right now. Because, trust me, we've got a whole library of stories that will make you laugh, cry, and believe in the goodness of this world again. Thank you for being here. And remember, sometimes the smallest gesture can create the biggest change.